Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Colton, and today we're going to do a short blind test with Photoshop's new AI tool and also with Adobe's tool for audio enhancement. And this all came about because obviously I've mentioned AI on this channel a few times and kind of wondered what all we can do with it. So this is intended to be sort of the first video in exploring AI for photography. Also, this came about because while I was in Colorado, there was a really cool theater and I went to go photograph it. At the same time, a storm came through and there was lightning everywhere. And I thought, how cool would it be to get some lightning behind this theater? So I went and photographed. Unfortunately, the lightning stayed behind the camera. It never went on the backside of the theater. So I wasn't able to get lightning in the shot. And as I drove home, I wondered if this was a potential use case for AI. Could I use Photoshop's new AI tool to put a lightning bolt behind the theater? Now, I have zero experience using this AI tool or any AI tool, so I have no idea how much pre-existing knowledge I need going into this, or if it's just going to couple clicks and just work. So it's a blind test in that regard. Never used it before. We'll see. This could be a great win or a total failure in terms of the end result on this photograph. So we will do our best to get exactly what we're looking for. And also with that, there's another Adobe tool. I think it's called Adobe Enhance. It's mainly for podcasting, I believe, but it enhances audio clips. So you just drop an audio clip in there and it will do an AI enhancement. So all the audio for this video will be run through that AI enhancer. Hopefully it works because this is literally the audio for this video. So we'll see how it goes on both fronts. But for now, join me over at the computer as we jump into the new Photoshop AI beta. All right, so we are here at the computer and I have selected two images that we will attempt the Photoshop AI tool in. Again, our goal is to put some lightning bolts behind the theater, so we'll see how successful we can be. I have not used this tool before, so hopefully I don't totally botch it. But again, this is sort of a blind test, and we can certainly do subsequent tests later on. So jumping into it here, we have the very top of this theater. I have edited this a little bit in Lightroom to kind of have generally a look that I want. And then there's another photo here. You do have to have the Photoshop beta. You don't have this in regular Photoshop at this time of the recording, but if you're downloading the Adobe Photoshop beta, then you'll have this tool available. Or if it's well into the future, then maybe this is just regular in Photoshop. So I've grabbed a tool here. And, I guess I'm going to try to fill this dark area with some lightning. I don't know if that makes total sense, but yeah, let's just grab the area. As far as I've seen other people do it, this is basically what they do. All right, so we've selected the area that we want Photoshop to work out of. And then in this generative fill areas where we can tell it what we want it to do. So add lightning to the photo. I don't know if it's that easy. Okay, we can click generate and it's gonna run. And I think it gives you like 2 or 3 options. Oh, okay, we got some blotch added, so that's definitely not it. It almost looks like it added in like some kind of cloud thing. It's like super dark, but it is definitely not a lightning. And this just looks like I have fungus growing on okay, so that's not it. Let's try again. Add lightning to the photo. Maybe we just say, what if we just said lightning? Does that get us anywhere? Okay, that's an improvement. This is definitely what I would call lightning. It's It's kind of freaking huge. Those are some thick lightning bolts. Another pretty thick lightning bolt. Okay, now that is pretty good. Weird how everything up to this point has been awful, but that's good. I even really like how it altered the cloud. You know, we just had the kind of black zone, and that actually looks kind of good. I don't love this top part right here. I don't know if maybe we can grab this and kind of zoom it a little bit. But yeah, that looks good. And the way, again, that it kind of did the cloud works, honestly. This might actually work better over here. But it also almost makes this look like, when you have a storm roll through, there's sort of like a tail. There's a wall cloud, and then the wall cloud has a tail, and that's what this kind of reminds me of. So in my opinion, that works. Okay, interesting. Not as photorealistic as maybe the previous prompt or the previous lightning, but it looks more kind of continuous, I would say. Interesting how it has sort of these like faded lightning, almost like vapors coming off of this. This is kind of cool, but not quite what I was looking for. The previous one is actually closer. Not bad. I think right up in here, it's not quite as convincing, but the rest of this is pretty convincing, and the way that it blends in with what was already here actually looks pretty good. So this is fairly decent. That one's the best one so far, I think. I think that one looks the most photorealistic. And maybe I'm just going to say photorealistic lightning. Can we do that? I wouldn't say that's photorealistic. It's very blue, but we could probably adjust, that layer a little bit, and that might actually work because it's also very minimal. And then another empty one. So photorealistic lightning as a prompt didn't really work, but lightning as a prompt did work. Especially that one. I think right now that one's the one that we're going to go with if it works. So why don't we say realistic lightning? So we're going to remove the photo part, shorten it, and just do realistic lightning. Okay, didn't really get lightning. It does look like it added in some more cloud, but otherwise, and a little dot. This is like a UFO came in. So honestly, doing less gets you better results for this test, at least. Lightning. Okay, much closer again. Just typing in the one word, lightning, seems to be doing the best. The more we type in, the worse it seems to be. So with the prompt lightning, we've done 18 of them. There was only one that really looked convincing, and that's this one. But what I love is if you look at this before and after, just empty blank space, we add this in, and it did a phenomenal job blending what was there with the new photo. And this looks great. So now we're going to jump over to this one here, and we're going to try to do the same thing. So once again, we're going to grab, I'm using the lasso tool. My understanding is this works with a variety of tools, but this is just the one that I happen to be using. Okay. And since one word seemed to be the best, we're just going to go with one word again. Now, this may even have an easier time or a harder time because we're working with such deep blacks. I don't know if it's going to be easier or more difficult. Okay. I don't love what's happening down here. And again, this is more of like a PNG of a lightning bolt. I like that. I like that it also kind of matched the color of the lightning bolt with this sort of more warm temperature that I chose to go with on the photo. It is putting in this weird artifact, but we could very easily go in and just, get rid of that and keep this lightning bolt here. Now that's also a really good one because this is much more what I would consider photorealistic. Like these other two are good, but they're also kind of like, they're PNGs. This one's not very good, actually. This is pretty bad. But this one actually looks like it's a lightning bolt from a photograph, and it's been blended in pretty well. There obviously is a little bit brighter area here, but that's realistic for if you had a lightning bolt striking, it would be brighter where that lightning bolt is. And it seems to have blended really nicely with this very dark area of the photograph. So I like that one a lot. I think that's probably the one I would go with. And this worked out on the very first generation. All right, so I also did in Lightroom run the Adobe AI for noise reduction on this image, and I have brought it here into Photoshop as well. So this is without any noise reduction, same setup we have, and then that is with the noise reduction and the same setup that we have. I think this really did clean up the image quite a bit. As far as the details go, it looks like all of the details and sharpness are retained between the two, which is great. And this sort of layer that we have for the lightning bolt still plays nicely with the layer that we have for the noise reduction that we did. So this will be the ultimate image as far as the one that we've created. And I am pretty impressed by how it looks and how it came out. So that's really cool. All right, so the next tool that we're using AI-wise for this is a tool called Adobe Podcast. I thought it was called Adobe Enhance, but it's called Adobe Podcast, and it enhances vocal audio, so speech. As I mentioned, this is what we're going to use for all of the audio in today's video, and hopefully it works out because otherwise we're gonna have some bad audio. To really test this, I've used my lav mic that I normally use, and I've plugged it into this very basic handheld recorder. So the audio quality is a bit lower than when I record videos normally. And so we're going to take that clip and we're just going to drag and drop it in here. And now it's going to do its thing. It's going to enhance this audio, and then it will let us play that audio and compare it to how it sounded before versus how it sounds now. And then it will let us download. Now, the only downside to this is that it is only going to give us an MP3 version. So if we're putting a WAV file or a really high quality file in here, unfortunately, we can't get the same file type out. But this product is in beta, so it could be that down the road they'll offer additional options for audio files. I have found that the MP3 sounds actually still pretty good. So that's it for our test. I have to say I am pleasantly surprised with the result, and I think the image actually looks kind of cool. It looks like how I was hoping I would have actually shot it had the lightning been behind the theater like I had hoped. But this was a cool way to get to actually see what could have been via AI. And I was really impressed with that particular AI's ability to blend what it added to what already existed. One thing that was a little bit surprising is the prompt asks you to be as descriptive as possible. And actually, at least for this experiment, it seemed like less was more, and rather than typing out a whole long sentence, just typing the word lightning got us better results than the way that it seems like it should have been. Either way, though, I did enjoy using this. I thought it was pretty cool. I can't wait to see, this is the beta, so once it actually goes live, what all it can do. And I'm sure with more practice and, even maybe going in and using Photoshop to alter what the AI adds in, could produce even a better image than what we got. But I wanted to see just what the AI could do on its own with no interference from myself, and overall, definitely impressed. Also, as I mentioned, the audio from this entire video has been run through Adobe's Podcast tool. I think earlier I called it Adobe Enhance. It's called Adobe Podcast Beta. But I used a lesser quality recording device than I normally use. And so this is the result with no other adjustment by me, only taking that file and running it through Adobe's AI software. So pretty impressed. I checked the audio before recording this portion of the video, and I thought it sounded amazing, way better than the default audio sounded right out of the recorder itself. So I would say wins on both fronts. Again, this was a blind test. I didn't have any practice with this stuff going into it, and I would definitely be interested in playing around with AI even more. Do let me know in the comments below what you thought of the end photo that the AI put together for us. And also, if you have any experience with AI or you have some tools that you like using, drop those in the comments below as well, because I would love to put together a list of tools to experiment with and try out in future videos. But for now, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, I am producing videos every single week. So do hit the subscribe button to stay in the loop for those future videos. Otherwise, I'm Colton, and I'll see you in the next one.